But I did not know you had to go through all of that, man.
It sounds like a lot. It's not.
Okay. So why American and foreign women are the same? Your statement is basically, what are you exactly saying in this statement? You saying that?
Let me qualify myself first.
Okay, go ahead.
When I say let me qualify myself, let me give you a reason or why I feel as though, from my perspective, I'm allowed to speak on this, and who I feel as though whose perspective to you should be valid.
Okay.
If you've been to 7 countries or more, it could be valid. If you speak the language of the countries you go to, I mean 30%. I'm not even going to say over 50%. Just 30% of the language of the country you go to, it's valid. If you are not a budget traveler, it's valid. If you are not a person who's scared to interact with people or get shut down by women, it's valid. And the reason why I say you need to have all these to have a valid response to whether or not the women are the same or not is because you cannot compare women in Colombia or like Medellin to women in the United States if you don't speak Spanish. Because because if you speak only English and you don't know a lick of Spanish, then you can't connect to them the same way you can connect to the United States. So you have a loss in translation there. It being a loss in translation there doesn't allow you to make a clear, inclusive view, or give a clear, inclusive viewpoint on if they're the same or not, because you don't understand the language. So that's one thing. Multiple countries is also an important thing. Now, I said 7 because that's one country every day of the week, but it can be 3 countries. Multiple countries is also the same thing, because if you've only been to the DR, Sasua, and you only been to Cartagena, you really don't understand how a woman from the majority of that culture is going to act, because you only went to tourist spots. So you only know how a tourist woman is going to react. And so comparing a tourist woman to an average woman in the United States is also not going to be equal. Again, those things I feel as though you need to set before you say, okay, now I can give you my perspective. And I fit those qualifications.
Okay. Now, what about outside of Latin America, though? Let's just say Asia, where they speak English.
It's the same thing in Thailand. It's the same thing in France. It's the same thing in Dubai.
So you're saying your dating experiences have been pretty much the same as in America overseas?
Everywhere I've been, I've been, it's been the same. Here's why I say women are the same. Women are the same because they all go for the same principles of what they want. The thing that makes women different is how they react. How they react is determined by the environment that they're in. So that's what makes them different. A woman from the United States will react different from a woman in Thailand or a woman in Colombia, because their environment is different. But if you take that woman out of Thailand, if you take that woman out of Colombia, if you take that woman out of Brazil and you plop her into the United States, she will then react differently than the women in Thailand, than the women in Brazil, than the woman in Colombia. Did that woman's core principle change? No. Her reaction to her environment changed because her environment changed.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that doesn't make women different. It just makes their reaction different because of their environment.
So you believe? Well, quick question, real quick. Do you need a vaccine to go to Cuba?
No.
Okay, excellent. That's good to know. Where was I at? So you saying that all the guys that do, because my channel is based more so on information. I don't really get too deep into the dating topics because I think everybody's experiences are going to be unique to themselves, right? So you got a guy that's may have a high level of being able to communicate with women, or how to dress or something. His experience with women in that country might be different than another guy's experience with women in that said country, right? So I don't really get into that. I pretty much provide more so information. I agree with you to a certain degree. I do think there's some cultural differences, and like you say, women response and everything like that. But do you think most of these YouTubers, I'm not calling out any names, but the guys who mostly the YouTubers who mostly put out content that's kind of going back and forth with the American women. Remember, I ain't calling no names out. I don't need no beefs right now. I got enough problems. But do you think that they're capping basically when they kind of come out and do these videos, the response videos? You know how the American women might say some talk stuff about the passport bros, and then they'll respond. Do you think that's all cap?
It's a tough question to answer, man. Because here's the thing. Me personally, I'm black.
Because you got some support in the chat, but then you got some guys saying that they different.
Here's the thing, y'all. I won't ever speak negatively towards a black person. I know what we've been through. Everyone doesn't have that same moral standpoint, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so hold on. Before we go that route, most of the YouTubers, because that's a bad narrative right there, that they just specifically speaking on black women, right? Some of them do, but I'm saying in general, when you see the reactions to the TikToks and you see the passport guys, doing their response, because some of the words, like some of the language is negative coming from the women, the American women, are really about foreign women. I'm talking about all American women. Most of the guys, they're not segmented. They're just saying women in the West in general. They're not just specifically saying black women.
Okay, let me go at this another way then.
Okay.
I don't need YouTube to make money.
Okay.
YouTube's like my fourth or fifth source of income. If I know that reacting to the women who are reacting to the men who are traveling over the world, just doing what they want to do, is going to get me more views, and I really want to get money, I'm going to put that above everything else. So it never really matters. Nothing else really matters to a lot of people who do this, because they just want the money. They just want the views. They're using their emotion to counteract someone else's emotion, so people watch and get money and pay for it. So to make a conceptual thinking that they're either wrong or right, or how I feel about that, is pointless, because they're just doing it for the money. And then people get sucked into it, like, oh my God, this woman said she wouldn't date a bus driver. Let's all talk about it. Why? That's a preference. She wouldn't date a bus driver? Okay, cool. But see, that's not. Again, we are. This is a capitalistic society in the United States. Everyone is doing stuff. We've gotten to a point where people are doing stuff on YouTube.
Okay.
People are doing stuff on YouTube solely for the money. Solely for the money. You can't. For me, that's why I don't accept super chats. That's why I don't have subscriptions. I don't have memberships. I don't take cash chats. I don't do any of that, because I don't want there to be any question to why I'm doing what I do. But when I have to question someone for what they're doing, what they do, it's irrelevant to have a conversation about it. I was skimming through YouTube, and they kept bringing all this stuff up about pearly white things and MTR and all this other stuff. I'm like, yo, like, there's so much other stuff in the world right now. You guys want to go back and just argue about stuff that's, but then I say, oh, again, when you're there for the money, how your channel is going to be different. You've never seen me beef with anybody on my channel. No one ever seen me get mad at anybody or talk bad about anybody, because as a black man, I know there's so much stuff I have to do before I'm 74 or before it's time for me to go. I don't got time to waste trying to argue about why she doesn't want to date me because she's a bus driver, or why the women in the United States are not better than the women in Thailand, or the women. That's pointless. So that, I hope that answers some of your questions.
Okay. Well, you're getting a lot of support in the chat, brother. It says Flyboy needs to do a little bit more contemplating. Okay. We got Crypto Tribe. You crypto guys been real silent lately. Y'all been quiet lately, bro. Thank you, dog. Flyboy Way and the Real G. Shout out to Charles Logan. He says, I'm glad he's talking about actually meeting the women and not just about the other stuff. Okay. You got time for a panel, bro? If I can drop a link. You got a little time on your hands?
We got time. My son upstairs. Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna drop a link, man. I'm gonna drop a link in the channel if you guys want to pull up, and put your thoughts to it. But that was a very good point. Because, in all honesty, bro, when I see like the YouTube cycle of pretty much entertainment and stuff, I don't understand it either, right? I really don't. Like the whole just pearly things and the woman dating the bus driver. I said the same exact thing. I was just like, well, if that's her preference, that's her preference. I don't see that big deal. You know what I mean? I don't get offended by what a woman prefers, you know, and I also, you know, knowing from my experiences personally, interacting with women, 9 times out of 10, nothing they say is concrete, right? So if they say they want a guy 6'2", 6'3", 6 figures, but then you see their baby daddy 5'9", you know, work at, you know what I'm saying, work at Papados or something like that, I'll be like, well, what about your baby daddy? Like, what was all this energy? You had a child with this guy, you know? So I always say that, okay, nothing that comes out of a woman's mouth is technically concrete, all right? And I got that from rest in power to my guy, Alan Roger Curry. He put a lot of information out there. We got In the Streets with Keith. If you want to pull up, bro, you're welcome to pull up.
Shout out In the Streets piece, man.
You know, me and Keith had a challenge going on, but I don't know what happened to the challenge. I think Zoom the Thailand just kind of gave them the one-hitter quitter, and they were done.
I talked to Keith about that. I said, yo, listen, man, because Keith's around my age. So I talked to him about that. I said, yo, bro, I mean,
we all around the same age, bro. I was born in '82, so we all around the same age. Y'all be acting like I'm just.
Well, I mean, because you be with the old guy, with the older guy, so it's like I just figured you was like 40 something.
You know what? I do the balance, man. I hang with younger guys my age, and older guys, man. That way I can get information, you know, and pass it along. So I kind of hang with you know, the expat community. You got guys from TaylorMade's age, Shop TaylorMade. You know, he's up there. And then you got guys all the way down. Like the guys I play basketball with is 21 years old. You know, he's the youngest guy on the court. And I'll be D'ing his ass up just like anybody else, bro. So, you know how we do it. But let me welcome. Let me see. I think I know who this is, but these guys be changing their YouTube names, bro. Let me see if I know this guy. Is this Passport, bro?
Yes, you know me. What's going on? Good evening.
What's good, bro? What was your name before?
Big Truck Series Review.
There we go. Yeah, there you go. You guys be changing. So you didn't change your name. What's your name now? Passport Bros what?
Passport Bros Business Class.
Okay, there you go. All right.
That's the only way I travel.
Nice. All right. All right. So what are your thoughts on this subject, bro?
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this the other day, in fact. And yeah, you know, see, basically, all women are going to be hypergamous no matter what. Now, the thing about it is, men are hypogamous, and they always are going to date down. Women are always going to date up. Men are always going to date down, right? And it doesn't matter how you slice it, but that's always going to happen. So hold
on. What do you mean men are going to date down? Can you explain that real quick?
Date down. Okay, women are hypergamous and men are hypogamous, HYPO. Men generally date women who are less than they are. And that's just a simple fact. They like for
instance, bro. You gotta give us some context.
Okay, sure, I'll give you context.
When you say that, you mean by financial standards. That was
not just financially, socially, biologically. Men never date women on their level. That's this whole idea that you've been forced to swallow about being evenly yoked. That whole idea about being evenly yoked is a lie. The simple fact is,
so doctors don't date lawyers.
Let me explain. Nowhere in history will you typically find that men are dating women who are making the same amount of money as them, or women who are doing the same exact job as them and making as much as they are. Now, there's a simple reason for that. If you're a man and you're dating a woman, you expect her to be at home preparing your house, keeping your house, and this, that, and the other. You don't expect her to be out late at night working, doing late hour shifts. You don't expect to come home to no food. You don't expect to come home to your children dirty and not clean. So the reality is men tend to date women who don't earn as much. They tend to date women who are not socially like that or not as famous as they are.
Hold on, Passport.
Okay.
I want to call you Big Truck, but hold on, bro. What about
nice.
Passport, bro? Passport what?
Yes. Passport Bros Business Class. You can just call me just call me Big Truck. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I'm that's but what was it? PB what?
Yo,
PB what?
BBC.
Just call me Big Truck. Just call me Big Truck.
Right.
It'll be easy.
So Big Truck, well, I want to point out though, what about the nurses that's married to the police officer?
Okay, and here's a question.
Hold on, real quick. What about the school teachers that's married to the fireman? You know,
And when you're
talking
saying a
about
school,
when we talk about the middle class, you know, yeah, you might make 5,000-10,000, maybe even a good buck 20,000 more than your woman, but that's still around the same general area, brother.
What? No, but you just brought it up for me. First of all, how many police officers tend to get married and end up divorced? Why? Because those cops are almost never at home. The woman is at home. He's not. He's out doing those shifts. He's working late. So the reality is, when a man who's like a cop or a doctor or something, when they get married, they're trying to get a woman who's going to be a homemaker. They're not trying to get a woman who's out the same amount of hours as they are. Most police marriages end in divorce. And when it comes to doctors and nurses and everything, when you've got these women pulling these late hour shifts and everything, if she's married to a guy who's working roughly the same amount of hours, when do they see each other? When do they have time for the kids? I have a friend, in fact, he's a lawyer, and his wife was working, I can't remember what she was, but she ended up changing. She wanted to be a nurse. And their biggest complaint was they had one kid, and they didn't have time to be parents. They didn't have time for the childcare because both of them were pulling these crazy shifts. Most of these divorces that you see are ending because either it's financial or the woman says, yeah, well, you don't make time for me. Or the man says that, you're not making any time for me. So that's exactly what I'm saying. That's one of the reasons why when you had Kevin Samuels, he was saying, yeah, high-value men employ their wives. Why? Because now she's working under his time card. So and that's just high-value men. When we're talking about the middle class, most middle class divorces that are happening are usually financials. Go ahead.
So first, let me start with the divorce thing. I just don't believe in marriage in the United States. So
I totally understand that. I totally hear it.
But I don't think it has to do with anything else. I just think it doesn't work. But as far as what you're saying, I believe the majority might. But what you're saying, everyone, that's not true. I'm from the hood. I know a bunch of dudes that don't make no money, and they date doctors and lawyers, and they go. That's
not what I said.
So no. You said dudes don't date up. So the hood dude who lives on my block, who has a wife who's a lawyer, is dating up. ASAP Rocky, who's dating Rihanna, is dating up.
Well, here's a problem. You're equating that hood dude with a man. I'm not equating him with a man.
We're just talking about. Okay, so the guy. I say he's a hood dude because he's from the hood. He might not have hood reactions, but he's still dating a nurse, and he works at McDonald's. He's not McDonald's. Works at like a post office, or he's dating a doc, or the other person's dating a lawyer, and he's a Amazon driver. I've seen it multiple times. So I'm not going to say.
Listen, there are exceptions. There are exceptions.
I agree. It's the majority. I agree. The majority are thinking the way you do, but it's not everyone.
There are exceptions to the rule, but then you have to look at the fact that the majority of these marriages end in divorce. There's a reason for that.
The majority of marriages in general end in divorce.
No. The majority of marriages in the United States. If you look at countries like India, or if you look at other countries,
we don't talk about India though.
I can pull out. Well, hold on, no. But see, here's the problem. America is its own specific case. If you're going to talk about countries in general, America is not a good example. First of all, it hasn't been around even 300 years yet, for one. And then on top of that, the majority of the marriages ended in divorce. And then the country is so freaking deep in debt that the average marriage is failing because of the debt. So that's a horrible place to live.
But you were just talking about the United States.
No? I'm talking about the United States because the passport bros are African-American men coming from the United States. But what I'm saying is, in general, men date down. They don't generally date up.
I would agree with that. But when you say all men date, is a little different.
No, I didn't say all. I said in general. Okay. In general, men date down. They are hypogamous. In general, women date up. They're hypergamous. That's basic sociology. And part of that is mostly tradition, and the other part is because of the roles. Men tend to have difficult, dangerous, and dirty jobs. Men tend to make more money than women because they have difficult, dangerous, and dirty jobs, and women tend to have easier jobs. But guess what? In those easier jobs, the women are home more likely in order to be the homemakers, while the men are out earning the largest amount of bread in the household. So what we're faced with now is a bunch of women who want to be on the same level as men, and then they demand that they still get the exact same treatment. They demand that the men that they want the high value men who are higher than them, because most of these women are telling you up front, if you don't make a certain amount of money, I'm not dating you. If you're not a certain height, I'm not dating you. What they're basically telling you is they refuse to date down. They want to date up. We understand that. But all I'm saying is that we're faced with women who want to be not only on our level, but they want to be above you so that this way they have control over the relationship. They get into the relationships feeling that they have to have control. Otherwise, they refuse to be in it. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So when we go to foreign countries and we get women from foreign countries, they have a couple of things going for them. Number one, they're not obese. Number two, they tend to be younger, especially the ones who are attracted to us, because they know that we can provide them a lifestyle that their own men won't provide them. Most of these foreign countries, they have men that the men will refuse to marry too, because in their country, the men, if they can't be in control of a relationship, they don't want to get married, for one. So they have MGTOW movements right now in other countries. So what I'm saying is when they see Passport Bros, they actually see that that's a chance that they have an opportunity to have marriage and to have a lifestyle that they never otherwise would have been able to have. And that's the simple fact. And the women, and they say it. They literally say it in the videos that they make. That's what I'm saying. So for Passport Bros, when we go to these foreign countries and we're meeting these women, we are the high value men there because we dominate their economy. We dominate everything around us. We can have anything we want. We go into the stores.
I wouldn't say we dominate. Our currency dominates.
We dominate the currency there. We dominate the women there. We dominate the men there because the men don't make. When
you're getting too far in the woods now, bitch. You're getting too far in the woods now, brother.
When we go to Thailand or you go to Philippines, the average one of those Filipinos or Thai makes less than $10,000 US a year. The average one of us going over there is making what, 50 to 60, and that's just the low end. When we go over there, we literally dominate them. And
I would, you know, hold on. I would not use the terminology dominate.
Yeah, your terminology strong.
No, you see, there's people, you know, hold on. There's people in the chat.
We don't dominate anything. We are guests in their country.
No, right? Well, you know, we are guests in their country, but at the end of the day, we're still Americans. At the end of the day, we've got more money than just about all of them put together in a small amount of place.
We economically
and hold on. See, hold on. Let me say this real quick, and I'm gonna catch the chat. I got 200 people in the room, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button. What you specifically saying is that yes, in the tourist areas, because it's made specifically for tourists and foreigners. Yeah, you would have more disposable income because you're getting taxed more, you're spending more. A lot of guys mostly on vacation. These expat areas, yeah. But as far as the whole entire country, that doesn't mean that all the men are poor or make less money than you.
Not all.
Or make more money than you.
I didn't say all. I said the average one of them.
Well, the thing about the thing about the average is, okay, say I go out and I try to purchase a home, right? First of all, I've never owned the land. Secondly, I'm going to get taxed on that home, so I'm paying $200,000 for that home. That a national might be paying $170,000 for that home. All right, so it's still checks and balances at the end of the day. I'm never going to say that we're going to these countries to dominate. We're just in these specific areas where we might have more disposable income. But in some of these countries, that's a bad narrative because Colombians got money. I've seen it myself. I've seen Thai people with money. I've seen Dominicans with money. All right, Dominicans that own whole cigar warehouses. I've interviewed them. They've been on my channel. So it's not just the fact that we just dominating like that. That's not the proper terminology. But hold on, let me catch these chats and I'm gonna get right back to you, Flyboy Away, because I don't want to get too far off in the woods because the subject of the show is, are women different? All right. So shout out to Yokohama 1949. He says men date down and across. Okay, we got Mr. G in the building. He says he kind of has a point. I guess that's referring to you, Big Truck. We got G.
My logic is undeniable.
All right. So he said most men can't handle a successful woman too. All right. We got R-Dub right in the building. He says, yeah, America only a small percentage of the world. We got Swirl Society in the building. He says, shout out to you bros, Big Truck, Flyboy Away, and BMT. Loving this conversation. All right. We got a super chat here by my guy Eric Powell with a $10 super chat. He got one of the best rappers on his icon, Andre 3 Stats. Shout out to you, man, for the $10 super chat.
That was him.
He says, salute to the OG Passport Bros. Aaron, congrats on the app. Yeah, the app, fellas. I was going to mention that towards the end of the show, but the app is almost ready to go. We're getting a few little kinks out right now, but the app is here, man. We're going to release it either June 1st or May 22nd. All right. All the guys that donate toward the app, you will receive the app first, of course. And of course, it will be free to download for all the guys that donate. We got a whole email list. And also, my Patreon members, you will get a link as well. So I'm going to go over the features. I'm going to do a whole show about the app to go over the features. It's a real dope app. We figured out a way that you can monetize your content, your travel content, man. So shout out to my team. Shout out to Cardell. Shout out to the developer about that app, man. We worked really hard on it. It took us about a year. You know, we had about 3-4 failed apps, but this one is ready to go. All right. So I'm going to do a whole show about that. No worries. But the app will be out this month or very early in June. All right. But shout out to you, Eric Powell, once again. Now, Flyboy, do you want to respond to what Passport or Big Truck is saying?
All right. So to me, to be dominant includes power. Yes, we have an economic advantage over the majority of them being United States citizens. We have an economic advantage, but without the power, and the power could be limited by the government in that country, I would never say dominate, because economic advantage doesn't always include domination when you go places. Does it help you? Yes, but let me give you an example. I can't own more than 49. Is it a BMT? Is it 49% of a place in Thailand?
Yes, that's true.
So if I have $1 million and I pay $1 million for a property, but I only own 49% of that, am I dominating that land? No, I'm still the lower end. So again, economics does give us an advantage. But domination isn't the correct word, because domination comes with power, which the country will always have more power than anybody coming over there with money.
Thank you, bro. Good point.
We don't dominate the government. We dominate the locals. We're going to their country to get their women, for God's sakes. I can't explain it any bit better than that.
Two things real quick, Big Truck. First of all, people travel for different reasons, all right? Some people travel for culture and lifestyle, and they money stretches further. All right. They have dreams to open up a business or a bar, something like that. Some guys are already married or in relationships and bring their women with him, especially out here in Thailand. You see guys bringing their girlfriends from Colombia. You see, people dating, people within their own culture. That's number one. And as far as the dating habits, I mean, right now we in a global dating space. All right. When you coming from a different country, women are going to be interested in you. All right. Because they never met a guy like you before. You're different. You sound different. Your swag is different. In some cases, you're dressing different, especially if you speak their language. That's even more of a 10 on the dating scale, man. So it's different reasons. I want to put that out there too. But I'm not going to say that we're just going overseas and taking their women necessarily, especially being Afro people, because most of these women that most of the bros date, despite what people think or say, are pretty much other black women. They just coming from different sides of the world. All right. They both went this way, or they got here this way. North America, South America. It's a lot of similarities. All right. I want to give a shout out to the tip with $2 super chat. He says, how would the Passport Bros app when the US dollar collapses? Okay. I'm going to do a whole show about the app real soon.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
There's no other reserve currency. It's not going to happen.
You know what? The funny thing is, I think somebody broke it down about, because it's a lot of the crypto guys kind of coming into this space now and I don't want to get too far off in the woods with that. We want to stay on the subject at hand. But just watch who you receive information from and the fear mongering about the US dollar, man. Because if you look at it, the US dollar is still the world's currency, and it's, you got military bases all around this world.
There's people, the people who argue about crypto taking over and everything. First of all, crypto's not even insured by anything. The US dollar is, and there's nothing backing crypto at all. You know what's backing the US dollar? Nuclear bombs, nuclear missiles, nuclear submarines, F-22 fighters, F-35 fighters, satellites. These guys.
We could do a whole show on that, man.
Nonsense.
I don't want to get too far off, because we'll take it to a whole nother
meanwhile,
level.
You do realize Bitcoin's below 27 again, right? You do realize everybody who invested after 55 lost like half their money, right?
Shit,
yeah, okay.
I invested after 38, 31, bro. It was terrible. Let me get a super
JP
chat, and I'm gonna
Morgan
get
has
you
a
triple
whole-
black, aka. Hold on 1 second. I want to give a shout out to Mr. G 1804 with $2 super chat. Man, I really appreciate that. Says there are similarities and there are differences in referring to the subject at hand. All right. So we're not gonna go too far in the woods with the because that's a whole show for another day about the US dollar and everything like that. But welcome to the show, Triple Black, aka.
What's up, man? Hey, what's up, Flyboy, man? I used to watch his videos a lot, man, and I had actually a question to him, like for him specifically, because you know, he used to do well, I haven't really seen you that much. I don't know if you shadow banned or whatever, but you know, I enjoy your video and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Because you were willing to be honest, you know what I'm saying? You gave the pro side of game, and then you gave the other side, you know what I'm saying? You wasn't scared. You know, a lot of people kind of like don't want to give like what the pros
You know what?
do.
That's a good point too, because I don't never see you in the algorithm, bro. When I'm scrolling, I don't see it in the algorithm. I think I got you. I think I'm supposed to get your notifications too. So that's a good point.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean the thing about it
Flyboy rich, man. He got money. He ain't studying that YouTube. Flyboy got bread, bro.
No, they always talk about you know, people going overseas just to do the tricking and all this type of stuff. And I see that you made some videos in Miami. Like, can you kind of school like these people on like any? Because I live in South Florida. Any type of tricking that
Hold up, bro. We're not talking about that. That's not the subject at hand. This is YouTube. No. We're gonna stay on the subject at hand. We're not even going that route. Triple Black, aka.
No, what I'm saying
this is YouTube, brother. Hold on. Let me. You know what, man? Hold on. See, he gonna take it to the. I gotta get you on up out of there, bro.
Oh man,
You gotta get you on up out of there, bro. People want to ask detailed questions off the subject and then not show their face on top of that. Come on now, bro. Let's keep it gangster here, bro. All right. So let's go back to Big Truck. Let's go back to the subject. All right. So what you're saying, Big Truck, personally, you're saying that women are the same in all these countries, right? Is that what you're saying? Are you agreeing with Flyboy Way?
I'm saying women have the same base programming, but most of those other countries, especially the ones we're going to, suppress that base programming and they replace it with traditionalism and indoctrination. So those women are more likely to be seeking marriage. They realize that they have a short window of time. Most of those Asian women, most of these South American women, they're getting married much, much younger, having children much, much younger. What you don't see them doing is wasting their youth in a school and then coming out at 30 or 40 and saying, yeah, now I'm ready to settle down, when the best years are behind them. So the women would do that in those other countries, but they have no economic support. They have no institutionalized support. They don't have as much of a welfare state. There's no safety net. And those women know that they have no safety net. And because they have no safety net, they have to play the game more careful. So the problem that we have here is we've set up a safety net that turned into a spider web.
See, let me attach this, what he just said, to the conversation we was having earlier. Women are the same. What makes them different is how they react in the environments they are in. The women in the United States react this way because they don't need a man to provide for themselves economically. In other countries, it's more likely that they need a man to provide for them economically because that is the culture. As you said, the culture is different, but it's different because economically they're not on a majority basis able to provide for themselves economically. There are some countries in Middle East where women are still not allowed to drive. So again, it's based on the environment. Other than that, women are all the same. They're all the same around. That's why I'm able to move around the world. And
those countries probably the safest to drive too. That's a little shot.
Man.
That's a little shot.
We was winning,
man. You guys are aware? Are you guys aware? Are you aware?
So good.
Are you guys aware that Saudi?
You know what? You know what? Hold on.
Guys, are you aware that Saudi Arabia?
The reason I say that, Flyboy Wave, is because I've been in 2 accidents out here, right? I've been in 2 accidents. One, of course, on my motorbike, she didn't see me, so I had to lay down. I had to lay it flat to avoid hitting her car. And you know how do you ride bikes, right? You ride bikes?
Nah, I don't know what.
Okay, well, sometimes you
know
gotta
what
lay
you
down and try to avoid the collision. That was one. And the other one, me and my boy, we just walking, and the driver, she didn't see me, and she just ran into me. Boom. I'm just like, so I'm sitting here like, what the, I'm upset. Yeah, walking, bro. It just literally just hit me. Boom. So I'm thinking it's a dude, but the driver, the wheel is on the other side of the car here, right? So I went up to the passenger side, forgetting, because I'm upset. I got hit, and I'm like, boom, boom, man. What was that? And then a little woman was like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I didn't see you. I said, oh, it's okay. I didn't know you was a woman. Because if it would have been a dude, it would have been a different story. That's why I say that, because I've been in 2 little fender benders here, bro. But you're right, we were doing good, man. Let me catch that super chat, and I'm gonna get back to you for your response, Big Truck. I'm gonna get right back to you, bro. The social loaner with the $9.99 super chat, man, really appreciate that. He says, just reporting. What up, Flyboy Way? Women are the same, and I think when we go over there, we have money, and they respect money and power. So shout out to the social loaner. All right, go ahead, Big Truck. You want to respond to that?
Well, no, what I was going to say was it's funny that you mentioned that the women in some countries aren't allowed to drive, because even in Saudi Arabia, they've basically lifted that. The women are allowed to drive now. In fact, one of the things that I found was interesting about Dubai is they've made it a point to put women out in the front. They got women flying freaking jets now. My only thing is, yeah, it's like all women have the same basic desires, just like all men have the exact same basic desires. I really, again, believe the biggest problem is that we have safety nets here, and the women are so used to not having to worry about anything until they're able to basically walk around with no safety line on. And if they fall down, they're not going to fall too hard, and they're not going to get hurt too bad for the most part. In these other countries, those women understand they need men. They need men. There's nobody telling them they don't need men. They know that they do. They know that they need a man to shoulder the burden. They know that they need a man to help them build that household. Our women have literally been indoctrinated here to say, yeah, we don't need men at all. So it's of no surprise why, so many American men are going to the same exact countries. You don't see too many American men going to certain parts of Western Europe, because if you go to Western Europe, the feminism is bad, if not worse than it is here. The divorce rates are higher in Russia and certain places in Western Europe. Our white men here in America, they used to try to get women from there, but now they've completely stopped doing that. They're going the same exact places we're going. And since there's so many of those women, there's more than enough for us to go around. We don't have to worry about the ones we got here. Go ahead.
On a side note, you guys do understand that the reason why America is the number one economy in the world, the superpower in the world, is because America preaches that anybody can come here and win. So if it wasn't for the fact that women can do what they do here in America, America wouldn't be number one. That's why a lot of the other countries were able to, a lot of the women want to come here and procreate. They want to come here and they want to work. They want to do all that stuff because they can't do it in their own countries. So the fact that we allow this to happen in the United States is also part of the reason why we're number one. So, I mean, it's like you got to take the good with the bad, right?
Have you ever been to the Philippines?
No.
Well, I know you've both been to Thailand, of course, right?
No, I haven't been to Thailand yet.
You haven't been to Thailand? Oh man, I know BMT. You've been to Thailand, right?
He's in.
You're in Thailand right now. Oh no. See, I was under the assumption that you have been to. What parts of Southeast Asia have you been to?
I haven't been to Southeast Asia at all.
Oh, because see, my fault. I was under the assumption that you'd actually been there, because I've lived in Asia and I've been in Southeast Asia for a while. I don't really deal with Latin America, but the thing about it is the average. Like, if I want to point out Filipinos or Thai, the average Filipino makes less than $10,000 a year. The average Filipino woman's working for less than $400 a month, $500 if they're absolutely lucky, and then they work on very short contracts. Right? If they marry one of us. If we choose to live there, they're living off of our pension for the most part. So they're living better than they're living if they were married to a Filipino man who, in most cases, would not marry them. The Filipinos have a phrase called pinaangkan, means shoot and scoot, just like our term pump and dump. A lot of those men will get those women pregnant and they refuse to marry them. So those women know that when they see us, that's an opportunity for them they otherwise would not have. if we choose to bring them back here, and I'm part of a Filipino community that a lot of the women who come here, we have regular conversations. Those women will all tell you the same thing. When they come here, they make more money working here than they've ever made in their entire life put together. And then they start sending money back home. And for them, that has become kind of like a retirement plan for their parents. So their parents will hope that their daughter marries a foreigner, and they hope that it works out fine, because that's kickbacks going back to those parents. And when, the brother or whatever needs college fare, he's asking big sister, and big sister's kicking him back money. We are giving them opportunities, and they understand it's a mutualism. They're giving us cooking, cleaning, and basically good bedroom fun, just to be clean about it. The Thai women do the exact same thing. They're under the exact same pressures. So when I say that we go over, we have a lot of power when we go over there. I'm not talking about having power over the government, but even with our passport, that represents our government. We have power when we go to these places.
I agree with that part.
All right. I'm not saying that we're going over there and we could just do whatever we want and beat people up and shit like Steven Seagal. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when we go over there, we get power, we have respect, simply based on where we've come from. When I was in China, living in China, there were lots of African foreign students and everything, but I got treated differently than they did because I was an American. I'm a big black guy. They were big black guys from Africa, but I got treated better than they did. People were interested in me, not interested in them. They didn't even, it was weird because they barely even paid those dudes attention. And, they had pretty large physical African builds for they were black-skinned men. But the mere fact that they came from parts of Africa, the Chinese were not interested in them like they were in me. And it is what it is, But when you're an American, you got that American passport, no, you got some power behind your name.
I got a few comments here. I got Ron Saluki, but yes, how you pronounce that. He says, here in Japan, the Panay community around the bases hunt for married military men. So they look for someone to take care of them and their families.
There you go.
All right, we got producer for real in the building. He says interpersonal and social power, I would say. That might be a good way to point it out. Interpersonal and social power, I would say. All right. Kenneth Bug said that's not power, that's an advantage. Somebody said, D. Smith said leverage and options. All right.
Social, economic, and political. We can't go over there and change their mayor or nothing, but the thing about it is we can literally offer their family a stepping stone to the country that most of them want to go to. I consider that power.
I wouldn't agree with that because I've been in every country I've lived in, and I've asked that question: do women want to go? Do you want to go to America? Some women want to go to visit. Some want to go to make money. That's very true, especially in Brazil. But if you in Medellin, you in Colombia or something like that, and you ask the average woman, does she want to go to America or does she want to move to America? They'd be like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool. I like my culture. I love my family. I don't want to leave my family. Here in Thailand, you don't get that a lot of women want to even go to the States. So I wouldn't necessarily agree with that because I think the 90-day fiance really throws that out there. Like every foreign woman wants to go to America, and that's the only reason that they're dating you is a possibility of going to America. Yes, there is that in some cases, but that's just not from my personal experience, that's not the majority.
No, a lot of them want to stay with their family. It's for the exact same reason why I can't simply move there right now. I've got family right here who needs me. So it's not as simple as just pack it up and just leaving. But for some of those women, and I don't deal in Latin America, but for some of those women, yeah, coming here is a lifelong dream, and they'll tell you that. I hear what you're saying, that some of them don't want to move away. I do hear that.
Okay. All right. So
let me just say this. A lot of Thai women who've moved up to Europe, they've expressed the fact that they hate it up there because it's dark, it's cold, it's rainy. And meanwhile, they came from a place where it's summer all year long for the most part. And they hate it there, So, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, we got CC in the basis, but if you get jammed up overseas, Uncle Sam ain't doing nothing.
Well, they got Brittany Griner back.
Yeah.
And they got her back. And the war's not even over.
Nah, but technically they traded her for somebody who's way more influential in the.
I believe it was the guy that the Lord of War movie was based off of. Nicolas Cage played.
They didn't just get her back. That's not technically how it went.
All right, I want to give a shout out to my dude D May $4.99 super chat, bro. When you come back out here, I know you're coming back out here. We gotta get you on the court soon. He said most foreign women don't want to leave their country. We need to get out of that Western mentality that we look as an opportunity, as an opportunity when we travel. All right.
I agree with the first part.
You want to respond to that, D May? Not D May, Flyboy way. I'm sorry.
No, I totally agree with the first part. From my experience of women I've talked to in different countries, I've had some that said they want to leave, but the majority of them no, because they have families there and they want to be close to their family because their culture, like you said, is built more on family things. But to think that we're not looked at an opportunity, that's totally not. I can't believe that. We're totally looking at the opportunity as an opportunity. It's multiple different ways to look at opportunity. Mind you, just the simple thought of the fact that being with someone, I might get a benefit, like I might get money, I might get different items that they don't have in their country. I might get someone to for my family to say, "Oh my God, you have a foreigner boyfriend as a boyfriend." That's all opportunity looking. So any woman who's going to date you without you knowing their culture, without you knowing their religion, without you knowing their language, 100%. Is dating you because they feel as though they have an opportunity. Point blank.
That's some real game right there, Flyboy way. Some of the passport bros don't want to hear that. All right. Well, guys, we've been in it for about an hour, 30 minutes. I want to keep this show relatively short and be mindful of the guests' time. I appreciate everybody joining us. Anything you want to say in a closing statement? If you want to talk about Cuba, Flyboy way, or anything like that, you have the floor, bro.
Okay, so I got 2 more Cuba videos dropping on Monday and on Wednesday. And then on Friday, I'm going to do the review. Again, I normally drop a Black Man's Guide, and everybody wants to see the Black Man's Guide, but I'm doing a film festival on. One of the reasons why I feel as though, aside from the quote-unquote shadow man, that a lot of people don't see me uploading or see me on the timeline, or even the reason why I haven't hit 100,000 or 1 million subscribers right now is because my channel isn't all about travel. My channel's never been all about travel. It's about me showing you guys options and showing you guys my life. And the issue is that when you consistently post the same stuff, like you consistently post travel, they put you in a different algorithm than somebody who's like, okay, they put me in a travel algorithm, but then I show you how to become financially free. But then I show you how to be part of how the Black community, what's going on in the Black community. So again, I never expect to be high. I was surprised I'm at 48,000. So whenever, I don't get worried about that. I just want people to know that before you go to a place and down a place, do some research. Because I feel as though a lot of us don't do enough research. Like my experience in Cuba is different from everybody else's experience in Cuba. Not because I have more money, not because I'm more known, not because I'm cuter, taller, stronger, cooler, dressed better. Not because of none of that, but because I do more research than everybody else. So again, whenever you're going somewhere, whether it's Cuba, whether it's Dubai, whether it's Thailand, whenever you're going somewhere, do the research. And don't be afraid to go yourself. If you go yourself, you have a bad time and you know not to go again. But if you don't go and you're just listening to the people who are in charge or listening to people who've been there who had a bad experience because they didn't do the research, then you're missing out on the opportunity, man. It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel, and I'll see you on the next.
Okay, real quick before you go, I want you to respond to this. Dope outro. Hold on. Pause real quick. Time out. Shout out to Black King with the $4.99 super chat. He says foreign women want an opportunity and an American woman want what exactly? Do you want to respond to that before you go?
Everybody listening? Didn't I tell you women are the same?
Good point. Good point. He just proved your point. He just proved your point. All right. We got Big Truck. Are you still there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
All right. You want to go ahead and say a close statement before we go?
Okay, yeah. You be safe out there, both of you. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your channel. I appreciate the receipts that you guys are bringing and everything. And I just want to keep on seeing more of it. I just subscribed to the other guy, Flyboy. I didn't know about him until just now, so I just subscribed to him. But when I do some traveling, I'm gonna be doing the same thing. Posted. My girl says she wants to go to Bali this time, and I still have a trip planned to Bora Bora. So yeah, I'm gonna have plenty of stuff to post up eventually.
Okay, excellent, man. Well, once
Business
again,
class flights, by the way, business class flights. So I'm going to do the whole thing, video the whole plane, video the whole experience. I'm going to have it all.
Okay, cool, man. Well, once again, appreciate you stepping in the show.
All right. Thanks a lot. You have a good night or morning or whatever.
Peace. Peace. Yeah, it's morning over here.
Okay.
All right, guys. It's been an excellent show. Before we go, I just want to let you guys see you guys, hopefully you can see that. Oh, it's right here. The app is right there on the phone. We're testing it out. There we go. We're testing it out right now. You can speak. We should be out relatively soon. Just getting some little last minute issues out. This is the app right here. You can scroll. I can't scroll too much because, like I say, it's a private app. But this is the app. We got guys already on it. Already, putting things out, testing it and all that, getting the notifications together and all that good stuff, guys. So it's going to be a dope app, man. It's going to be a real dope app. All right. I know you guys have been anticipating the app for quite some time. All right. And, that's the resource center right there. Okay. So I'm going to do a show. We're going to dedicate the show to the app that's coming out. All right. Get excited. We almost there. Peace.